Welcome to Reddit Stories. Welcome to Cozy Reddit Stories. We're very cozy up in here. Today we are looking at Am I the A-hole? Reddit Stories are something that I plan on doing every single Wednesday here on my channel. Be one story per Wednesday, so it's not going to be like a whole compilation of stories. And I'm basically just going to pull from whatever subreddit I feel like and just read like the top story that is on like the feed. Doesn't matter how many like upvotes or comments or whatever it has. I'm just going to read whatever's there, just so that way you know what the expectations are. This is also the first video I'm filming in 4K because while I'm techie enough to survive in the common age, I'm obviously not techie enough to know that my camera records in 4K. So that's what this video is my first 4K video. Hopefully it turns out okay. Hopefully my quality improves, but we'll see. This is posted from Am I the A-hole? It was posted by user Jessie Lynn Reddit. Am I the a-hole for bringing my daughter to my own child-free wedding? Right off the bat, I'm going to say no. Your wedding, your rules, you can do whatever you want. If you don't want other children there, that's fine. But, like, it's your daughter, and it's going to be an important part of her day as much as going to be an important part of your day, you know, depending on if this is, like, a remarriage or if this is, like, a boyfriend that you've had for a while, like the boyfriend that you had the child with, and now you're both getting married once your child is, like, old enough. There's a lot of factors, but I'm going to say right off the bat, not the a-hole. So my husband, 29 male, and myself, 27 female, just recently got married. We spent almost a year planning the perfect wedding, taking the right precautions, etc. One of our first rules that we decided was that it was a no-kid wedding. We wanted an environment where we wouldn't have to worry about children running around, getting into things, crying, etc. We made it very clear on our invitation that we didn't want anyone to bring children under 14. We did, however, decide that we wanted to bring our own daughter, 11 months. See, that's different. This is a baby. You know, you probably were pregnant with this child when you were engaged to begin with. I wanted to hold her during the reception and photo taking, and then have a family friend drive her home and wait for the babysitter to get there before coming back. Okay, so this is just, you wanted her for photos during the reception, is what I'm gathering. Or you wanted her to be there for the ceremony. It doesn't say anything about the ceremony at the moment, but you wanted her during the beginning of the reception and for photos. But then obviously she's not going to be there the entire rest of the night, mostly probably because who knows how long this wedding's going to run for. Before we settled on that friend, we asked a few people. So before they settled on the friend to drive the baby home, they had asked a few others. One of the people we asked was my husband's closest friend, Darren's wife, Jessica. Fake names. She declined because she didn't want to drive, which worked out fine as we were able to find someone else. So on the day of our wedding, after we told everyone several times about the no-kid rule, she shows up with her 4-year-old. I was obviously taken aback, but I went to ask her about it. She told me that since I was bringing my kid, it was okay if she took hers. Honestly, I was furious. I tried to stay calm and tell her that this is a child-free wedding and she can't let her kid run around, but if she took her kid home, she was welcome to come back. She started yelling about me, about how since I had a kid, it wasn't fair that she couldn't have hers. Her son at this point was already climbing on things, as she just let him run free. I told her that this was a last chance or she needed to leave. She rolled her eyes, sat down in a chair, and just watched her son run wild. Eventually, her husband, Darren, convinced her to get the kid and leave, but it ruined the whole first part of my wedding. It's been a few weeks now, and I've been thinking maybe I am in the wrong. I said no kids at my wedding, but brought my own. A lot of people in my life are also saying it was hypocritical at the least. So, am I the a-hole? OP has offered the following explanation for why they think they might be the a-hole. I think I may have been hypocritical or in the wrong. Maybe I should have let people know beforehand so they didn't assume that I was bringing my kid. The top comment at the moment is not the a-hole, your wedding, your rules, and an unsupervised, unrelated 4-year-old is very different to the bride's 11-year-old daughter. Is it 11-year-old or 11-month-old? 11 months. I thought it was going crazy. OP responded to that. 11 months, but also thank you. I'm just worried that maybe I made it seem okay, if that makes sense. Replied to that, my bad. Still not the a-hole? You don't just show up at a wedding with your kid after the invite says no kids. Someone else commented, I don't even know why you would want to bring your kid if you don't have to. I told my best friend it would be fine if he brought his kid to my wedding, and he was like, no way, we want to break and to have some fun. Someone else commented, of course you're bringing your own child to your own wedding. You want them in the pictures and you can do whatever you want. The entitlement of Jessica is ridiculous. I wouldn't speak to that idiot ever again after that's done. Someone commented under that, that's like calling the bride a hypocrite for saying no one is allowed to wear white to her wedding, but then she shows up in white. Absolutely not the a-hole. Parents like Jessica are the problem. If people would teach their children how to behave in public, then there wouldn't be a reason to have child-free weddings. So everyone seems to be in agreement that this OP is not the a-hole for bringing her own child to her wedding. I mean, I agree, obviously. I do think that well, then it's kind of hard too, because maybe it was like, it's possible it was lost in translation, or like OP said, Jessica made the assumption that because OP's daughter was coming to the wedding, that then all kids were suddenly allowed to come to the wedding no matter what the invitation said. But at that point, you need to ask for clarification. And still, Jessica is in the wrong because you still don't bring children to weddings that specifically say no children. Why would you make that assumption? I don't know. I'm glad that Darren kind of had his head on straight and he was able to talk his wife into taking their kid home, but he shouldn't have enabled it to begin with either. Like, I know that OP and her husband asked them, because they are close friends, if they would be willing to drive their baby home for the babysitter. Jessica said no. Why they asked Jessica and not Darren to do it, I don't know, unless she was speaking for both of them. But like, your husband is close friends with Darren. It doesn't really sound like they were close friends with Jessica at all to begin with, because why would your close friend assume that they can bring their child to your wedding without asking you first, you know? Definitely not the a-hole. You're fine, OP. You don't have to feel guilty about anything. You made it abundantly clear to everyone else that children under 14 were not allowed at your wedding. You're entitled to bring your own child to your own wedding. Like, that's something you're allowed to do. Not the a-hole. I've been checking my analytics, as one does, and apparently I have some viewers from Canada. So if you're from Canada, go ahead and leave a like on this video. It's really great to know that I have somewhat of like an international audience. That's really cool for me. Go ahead and leave down in the comments what you think about this story. Are they the a-hole? Are they not the a-hole? Would you agree with Jessica in, like, if you can bring your kid, then obviously I should be able to bring my kid? Like, do you agree with that? Do you not agree with that? Really open the discussion up in the comments. So, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye.